Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi, Jai Savidhan, Jai Bharat. Today is Sunday, and once again, welcome you all to MNT News Network special episode. And today we are going to discuss very important topic. And as all of you know, recently on 1st of February, the budget 2024 of India it was submitted, and there were discussions on that, and many ups and downs or many analytical things are coming up. So we also thought of engaging one such analytical lecture on budget specifically, so that our Mulnivasi Bahujan Society viewers, our viewers will come to know what is there in the budget, how this budget was, and how their problems or their particular requirements are has been taken care in the or not taken care in the this interim budget which was submitted by Sitaramaya ji on 1st of February. And today we had with us eminent economist and professor Dr. SKamble sir. So without wasting time, let me welcome Professor Kamble sir to our studio. Sir, Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi, and
thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, welcome to MNT News Network. So, sir, actually, very recently, just 2 days back, the budget of India, the 2024, it was submitted, and there was a discussion. A lot of discussions happened, and after that, there are several analytical things with respect to this budget there are discussions are going on, and it is seen that very soon the elections are also going to come, and before that only this interim budget was submitted. So our viewers are very eager to know how this budget was, or what was there for them, or what was not for them, how it was related with budget or with these elections, or whether really the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, other backward classes, or the marginalized section, they got anything or not. So we want to hear from you specifically with respect to this budget and its critical analysis as far as the marginalized sections are considered. Please elaborate more, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. My special thanks are MNT English, because this is very crucial program, and recently on 1st of February, Union Budget for the year 2024-25 was presented by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. And really, all of us know budget is very important. Budgetary policy is of crucial importance. Any country who desires to realize and achieve rapid and all-round development of the economy, this requires to formulate and implement a development policy. And development policy is very comprehensive. Number of policies are being part and parcel and are being included in the development policy. And budgetary policy, which is also known as fiscal policy, is a major component. It is also a major part of development policy of any country. It comprises of how the government prepares a budget, what are the sources of revenue comprising of tax and non-tax, revenue receipts and capital receipts, and what is the total expenditure comprising of revenue expenditure, capital expenditure, sub-components, and minor breakup is also there. So far as the budget for the year 2024-25, its peculiarity is that it is an interim budget. It's not a full-fledged budget. When elections will take place in 2024, when new government will be formed, it will prepare a full-fledged budget for the year 2024-25. But here it is because after 31st March, all fiscal transactions of the government come to the end, finish. And this requires provision of a new budget, and consequently, this interim budget before election and after election, government will come into power, and the new government will formulate a full-fledged budget for the year 2024-25, and in the remaining period, that will be implemented. Now, talking about this budget, number one, this budget is centered around the dream of Vikasit Bharat, that is a developed India, and the government of India has dreamt of Vikasit Bharat, that is developed India, by the year 2047, which is a centenary year, which is the 100th year of the India after independence. And India we want to convert. At this moment, India is a developing country. India is a underdeveloped country. And that we are desiring, we are willing to convert this developing India into a developed country. And the time span is by 2047. So by 2047, we are going to transfer our economy from a developing economy to a developed economy. And this budget is the beginning of this realization and achieving of the dream of Vikasit Bharat by 2047, that is a developed India. Now in this budget, it has given mantras, that is principles, how we are going to realize this developed India, Vikasit Bharat by 2047. And it has basically two mantras, two principles. One is a comprehensive development of all should be developed. And number two is trinity of demography, democracy, and diversity, and backed by surprise, that is efforts of all. This is the backbone, this is the philosophy, this is the pillar, we can say mantra of realizing developed India, developed Indian economy, that is there. Now basically in this budget, or this budget is concentrated at sustainable development of India and inclusive development of India. Even we try to realize and achieve social inclusive development of India in the 11th Fire Plan and 12th Fire Plan. Now also it is urgent need of the hour to endeavor in the direction whereby inclusive development of the Indian economy will be realized and achieved. Talking about sustainable development, by 2030, all the member countries of United Nations Organization, they have to realize and achieve sustainable development goals. And therefore, sustainable development is the central idea. It is at the part of center, so far as budget in particular or development policy in general of India is concerned. First of all, I shall try to place before you what efforts or provisions are there relating to inclusive development of India. Then I will proceed to discuss on sustainable development of India, what provisions are there. And then in the next part, I shall discuss what is there about the Bahujan Society, what is there about the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBCs, minorities, what is there about the marginalized group of the society. And in the last part of my lecture, I will place before you what should be agenda, what should be revisions and modifications, what corrections can be brought about as the result of which this budget will be budget for the developed India by 2047. This will be a socially inclusive developed India, and this will be a sustainably developed India and the development of Bahujan Samaj, Bahujan community, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, OBCs, minorities, and all others. Now, for inclusive development of India, what is there in this budget? Efforts will be made to develop infrastructure comprising of physical infrastructure, digital infrastructure, and social infrastructure. This budget intends financial inclusion through the digital infrastructure, intends to deepen and widen GST tax base, tries to strengthen financial sector to bring back savings, credit and investment into the Indian economy. It expected to endeavor to realize and achieve global capital and financial services in Indian economy. At the same time, it also intends to control inflation, whereby poor strata of the society should not be adversely affected. More importantly, this budget intends participation of all country or entire country, all states and regions and areas in the overall development of the Indian economy. The present scenario of development of Indian economy tells us that growth or development is measured in terms of gross domestic product. And when we try to make a comparison of GDP growth of India with the GDP growth of world, we find that in 2022, India was significantly higher and greater so far as GDP growth of India in comparison with the world GDP is concerned. And in the year 2023, GDP growth of world was less than 4%, but it was India was more than 5%. And the latest 2024 GDP growth of India is considered, it is about 7% or more than 6.5%. And the distance between GDP of world and GDP of India is increasing, it is widening. That is the ground reality. The conclusion is that yes, at this moment, India is growing and its growth rate is higher and greater than the world growth rate. Again, for inclusive growth, this budget intends to overcome or tackle the problem of poverty. And its slogan is Garib Kalyan Desh Ka Kalyan. That is, welfare of poor is the welfare of country. And for that reason, the provision those are there in this budget comprise of direct benefit transfer, then tackling of the multidimensional poverty, then financial assistance to street vendors. These are the provisions those are there so far as tackling the problem of poverty and reducing the extent and magnitude of poverty among the poor people in the country. Consequently, this budget claims that there is a significant decline in the poverty people below the poverty line, poverty ratio, from 55% in 2005-06 to 11.3% by 2022-23. And as India is the young country, youth development is of crucial importance. And therefore, for the empowerment of the youth, some provisions are there definitely in this budget to train about 4 crore youth through Skill India mission. Then 43 crore loans to entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs. Then there is increase in the number of IITs, IIMs. In 2023, it is 23. It was 16 in 2014. All India Institute of Medical Sciences, 22 in 22. It was 7 in 14. And universities, number of universities, 1,113 in 23, which was 723. And budget allocation for PM3 also is 6,050 crore in 2024-25, which was 4,000 in the year 23-24. Again, for the inclusive growth of India, this budget says welfare of farmers is necessary because farmer is an annadata, he is a food supplier, and therefore farmers' development is of crucial importance, it is of greater importance. And the provisions for the development of annadata, farmers, is financial assistance through PM Kisan to 11.8 crore farmers, then coverage of crop insurance to 4 crore farmers under PM Fasal Bima Yojana. 1,361 mandis have been connected to the e-Inam and increasing trading volume of 3 lakh crore. Collection of rice and wheat has increased significantly from 28 lakh metric ton in 22-23 to 38 lakh metric ton in 23-24. And so far as wheat collection improvement is concerned, 182 to 262 lakh metric tons. Further, for inclusive growth, some women empowerment provisions are there because this budget describes women as a Nari Shakti, women power. And for that reason, supplying loan under Mudra scheme, increasing enrollment in higher education, then technical education enrollment to be increased, and through self-help groups, 83 lakh self-help groups, women to be converted into Lakshapati Didis. Yes, there is an improvement in women participation rate from 23.3 to 37. That is also there. Again, talking about inclusive education, further it is provided that there should be improvement in health conditions, but more importantly, aspirational district development program will be implemented across districts in India, and thereby efforts will be made to realize and achieve development of aspirational districts. That provision is there. Some health development efforts are there in this budget, especially cervical cancer vaccination to girls in the age group 9 to 14 will be provided. Anganwadi Poshan program will be improved and developed. Twin platform is developed for immunization mission, and Ayushman Bharat scheme will be extended to Asha, Anganwadi workers and helpers. Again, for inclusive development, there will be increase in housing facilities under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Already 3 crore houses have been constructed, and this budget targets 2 crore houses in coming 5 years. Provision for Prime Minister Awas Yojana is increased from 79,590 crore to 80,671 crore in the budget 2024-25. As India was the president of G20 countries, so to exploit that into opportunity, the budget will endeavor for increasing tourism development in India. In addition to that, for inclusive development of India, efforts will be made for agriculture development and like that. These are some of the measures, those are there. Those provisions are there for the social inclusive development of India. Talking about Vikasit Bharat and sustainable development, for sustainable development especially, the effort will be made to realize and achieve net zero discharge of carbon dioxide by 2070. Then rooftop solarization, that is development of solar energy of 1 crore households. Then there will be e-vehicles development will take place. Then use of biomanufacturing and biofoundry will be endeavored. Use of non-fossil fuel, that is non-petrol, diesel, coal and gas fuel. Its share will be 42% in the total energy generated in India. But that endeavor is there. And the use of LPG connections, LED bulbs, LED tubes, Ujala and LED street lights. These provisions are there for sustainable development. In addition to that, green energy is there. For green energy, some efforts are there. And that will also enable us in realizing and achieving sustainable development on the one hand and developed India on the other. Especially to speed up and realize Indian development of India, attempt will be made for infrastructure development and increase in investment. Railway development, 3 major railway corridor programs will be developed. PM Gati Shakti development will be undertaken. Udan program is there for aircraft and airport development, that will be speeded up. The peculiarity of this budget is capital expenditure share has been increased up to 11% from 9%, and that is a peculiarity. Supplementary that foreign direct investment is expected to increase up to 593 billion US dollars, and that is also expected and desirable. And physical improvement, infrastructure improvement is endeavored, that comprise of national highways, that comprise of cargo and traffic, railway route, aircraft and airports also that is there. In addition to that, for fastest and development of India, agriculture and food processing development will be endeavored. For that, private and public investment will be increased. Then nano DAP will be used for sustainable to agroclimatic conditions. Then oilseeds Atmanirbhar strategy will be formulated and developed. Then dairy development program will be implemented and endeavor to realize and achieve dairy development. Then fishery development will be undertaken through Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, and this blue revolution will be carried out, for which the provision is there in the budget of 2,352 crore, and which was 2,025 crore in 23-24. One more provision is there for that developed India and fastest development of India, that is development of micro food processing enterprises and units, and that is that provision is there. And in this budget, expenditure of 880 crores have been allocated, and thereby efforts will be made for the micro food processing enterprises, and the provision increased from 639 crore to 880 crore. So far as taxation policy is concerned, in this budget, much efforts have not been made to bring about changes in taxation policy, both direct and indirect. Only some efforts will be made to deepen and widen tax base of GST, and some tax exemptions and rebates are provided in this budget. Minor revisions are there, changes are there so far as tax system is concerned. Again, talking about how the efforts are there for inclusive development and rapid development of India, what budgetary allocations are there, that I will place before you. For defense, expenditure on defense has been increased from 4,55,897 crore to 4,54,773. That is there is a provision that is 4,54,773, which is a little bit reduction in the provision for defense. Again, subsidy has been decreased. Fertilizer subsidy has been decreased from 1,88,894 to 1,64,000 crore. Food subsidy has been decreased from 2,12,332 to 2,500,250 crore. Petroleum subsidy has been decreased from 12,240 crore to 11,925 crore. These deductions, decreases have been made, that is in defense, subsidy on fertilizer, food, petrol, that is there. On commerce and industry development also, provision has been decreased from 47,350 to 45,958. But for agriculture and allied development, provision has been increased from 1,40,533 crore to 1,46,890. On education, provision has been increased from 1,08,878 crore to 1,24,638 crore. On energy, 54,989 crore to 76,302 crore. On health, provision is increased from 79,221 to 90,171. For rural development, provision is increased from 2,38,984 crore to 2,65,808 crore. On social welfare, provision is there, increased from 46,741 to 56,501. Transfers to states have been increased from 5,24,941 crore to 5,44,039 crore, and for urban development, 69,271 crore to 77,521 crore. So far as resource mobilization in this budget, and spending in this budget is concerned, what is the composition? That composition I will press before you, and then I shall proceed further. What is the provision that is there for the development of Bahujan community, that is scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBCs, minorities, and all others, and what provisions? Revenue from income tax, 19% share. From borrowing and other liabilities, 28%. Non-tax revenue, 7%. Non-debt capital receipts, 1%. Customs, 4%. GST and other taxes, 18%. Corporation tax, 17%. Union excise duty, 5%. Income tax, 19%. So far as expenditure composition is concerned, government is going to spend on interest payments 20%, centrally sponsored schemes 8%, subsidies 6% of total, defense 8%, central sector schemes 16%, finance commission transfers 8%, state share in taxes and duties 20%, other expenditure 9%, and pension 4%. This budget has increased provisions on Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program, and this is also a peculiarity so far as this budget is concerned, that will help us in the inclusive development, as well as that will help us in the employment generation as well. Now, actually talking about this critical analysis of the budget, for the first time, this budget has this government has not presented economic survey, which is being presented a day before the presentation of the Indian budget. That highlights what socioeconomic problems and challenges Indian economy is facing, and what provisions are there to tackle them in the budget. That comparison can be made, and whether the budget is in the proper direction so far as solving and tackling the socioeconomic problems and challenges. Those have been highlighted and underlined by the economic survey, but this time economic survey is not presented, and therefore people, society do not know what actual challenges, both social and economic, India is facing, and what provisions are there to tackle them, to solve them. That comparison cannot be made. Now, talking about so far as social welfare is concerned, welfare of Bahujans, this time only the consolidated provision is found about the social welfare. Of the total provision that is there on social welfare, what share is given to scheduled caste, what share is given to scheduled tribe, what share is given to OBCs, what share is given to minorities, that is not highlighted, that is not underlined. So that doesn't give a picture how the welfare of the Bahujan, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBCs, minorities, and all others will take place. That cannot be predicted. Now, talking about education, now we are implementing National Education Policy 20, and more expenditure is required, infrastructure is required, some programs are required, faculty recruitment is required, both teaching and non-teaching. Number of financial liabilities are there, but for that purpose, that provision, some increase is there on education. But what I feel is that it is not sufficient and adequate. More provision was required, because we are implementing, India is implementing national education policy across the countries at national level, and which demands to increase expenditure. We have to increase gross enrollment ratio, we have to increase expenditure, we have to endeavor for qualitative education, we have to increase universities, colleges, and institutes. Those are there. We have to meet disparities, those are there between male, female, across the social groups. And our gross enrollment ratio in higher education is also very inadequate and very less. But unfortunately, that is missing so far as this budget is concerned. Again, health is very important problem. Yes, health provision is there. It is improved, but we're taking into account a lesson from COVID pandemic period, more was required. APJ Abdul Kalam thought of economic supremacy of India, and he wrote one book. And he described in that book, we should empower the youth, because youth is the engine of growth. He is an engine of growth. So for youth, employment is necessary. For youth, education is necessary. For youth, health is necessary. employment is not to that extent attention paid so far as this budget is concerned. To what extent employment generation will take place? What will be the composition? What will be there in the private sector? What will be there in the public sector? Whether there will be recruitment at central level, state level, local level, it is not there. So to what extent employment generation will take place, and consequently, to what extent it will be helpful for us in controlling the problem of unemployment that is a missed aspect so far as this budget is concerned. There was need of growth and employment linkages to be established, and what will be informal employment, what will be formal, what will be in private sector, what will be in public sector, what will be employment policy. Those provisions were required, and to what extent we will succeed in tackling the problem of unemployment. That provision was expected, but that is not there. Supplementary to that, so far as this budget is concerned, by 2030 we have to realize sustainable development goals, and zero poverty is one of them. At this moment also, data tells us the problem of poverty is intensive. Yes, to some extent reduction has taken place, fall has taken place, but poverty is a very, very important and very crucial problem. And by 2030 we have to realize zero poverty. There is also provision to provide food security to all the people in the society. Yes, 80 crore people are benefiting from the food being supplied to public distribution system. But in addition to that, they should be self-reliant, and they should be provided employment. They should generate minimum income, as the result of which they will provide for food security. So that provision is required. So how you are going to tackle the problem of poverty? How you are going to tackle the problem of unemployment? How you are going to provide for the food security? And that in the budget, subsidy on food is decreased. It is decreased. Decline is there. Shortfall is there. A fall is there. Supplementary to that, so far as sustainable development goal is concerned, how we are tackling the problem of inequality. Now, inequality is a very higher and intensive problem in the country like us. When we look at the data provided by the World Inequality Report, also the SKamble report for 2023, those adequately prove that yes, inequalities are growing very rapidly and very intensively. So what to be done so far as the tackling of the inequality is there. But unfortunately, the term inequality has not been referred at all so far as this budget is concerned. In this backdrop, what should be the revisions and corrections which are required so far as this budget can be budget for the developed India by 2047? It will be a sustainably developed budget, and it will be inclusively developed budget. Number one, the base of budget should be the Constitution of India. Number two, we should not forget our identity of mixed economy as a model of development for India. We should try for the provision those are required for sustainable development, that is control of greenhouse gases and carbon dioxide, green energy, wind energy, solar energy, atomic energy. Yes, in that direction the efforts are definitely required. Supplementary to that, waste management problem is there, water purification problem is there, control of air pollution is there. These problems are also necessary to be tackled. Special policy is required for control of the poverty, because poverty is very intensive problem, and by 2030 we should realize and achieve zero poverty. So a special provision is there. Employment policy is urgently needed, because the problem of unemployment is very crucial. The latest data tells us it is at 10%, and economic theory tells us that 3% unemployment is bearable. It can be there in any country. It is referred to as a natural unemployment. Then the provision for development of Bahujans is required for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBCs, minorities in proportion of the population, and welfare schemes, programs are measures, specific measure detailing is required. How we are going to realize social welfare comprising of Bahujans, that is scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBCs, minorities, and gender gap, male, female is also there across the social groups. Also, this gender gap is there. How that we are going to realize that is there. In the framework of Constitution, we should endeavor for how the social equality, justice, fraternity, and socialistic pattern of society, social welfare, that will be realized. We should try to realize and achieve economic equality, social equality, and political equality as well. If in that direction the efforts are being made, and the basis of preparation of the budget and implementation as well is Constitution of India. And we are very sincere, honest, and rigorous so far as preparation as well as implementation is concerned. That will be a budget for, in the real sense of meaning, budget in the framework of Constitution, budget for the developed India by 2047, developer for sustainable development of India, and budget for inclusive development of India. In that direction, revisions, corrections are required. If in that direction the efforts are being made, it will be that will serve the purpose for which today's program is organized by MNT English. Over to you, Ashish.
Thank you very much, sir. Actually, it was very elaborate, and you had explained in detail what was there in the budget and how the budget should be, or what were the expectations of this particular society from this budget, and how it can be improved in upcoming days or upcoming budget. That also you are highlighted, and definitely this aim of 2047 to become India as a more sustainable, developed country. If India has to march towards that, then what efforts needs to be done considering the inclusive overall economy of India is concerned. Very nicely you have elaborated each and everything, and I hope our viewers had got their means what they wanted to have to know about from this particular budget. Definitely, this particular information will help them. Just at the end, we would like to take your concluding message to our viewers, what you would like to say, so that they analyze this budget in particular direction, and also they get the path how the budget of future it should be. Your concluding message.
Every citizen should be educated, trained, and aware of what budget is, how the policies are formulated and implemented, what is as a stakeholder, what they are getting and what expected to be get. They should be very trained and educated and made aware of the Constitution of India and what programs and schemes and those are there in the budget and what is lacking and what is missing. They should learn. They should go through the entire budget document. Budget document is there on the Government of India budget as well. They should go through, and wherever it is necessary, they can talk to the experts like teachers and experts that is there. And it is urgent need of the hours to understand, to read, to educate, to train, to be aware of, and to examine and analyze the budget, as the result of which budget will be for a developed India. Budget will be for the sustainably developed India. Budget will be for the inclusive development that is there, and budget for all. Budget for the Bahujans, budget for the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBCs, minorities, and all others. That is there. That is expected and desirable. It is urgent need of the hour to educate, train, and aware of understanding budget, preparing budget, implementing budget, and what is their role. So far as correcting of the budget is concerned, sending their messages and their reactions and their feedbacks and their suggestions to the policymakers and government as well. If in that direction the efforts will be made, I am damn sure this budget will be for the people of India. This budget will be for the country of India. This will be for the India. That is there.
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Definitely, our viewers will look in this particular direction because the awareness is the most important thing. And as far as the marginalized sections were considered, they were thinking or they were of the thought that budget is nothing to do with them, only for paying of tax and related things, and with respect to reservations and the overall increments, and that in that particular mindset only our people were living. But there is a need of the hour to know more about the budget, what a budget is, how the country runs, and how does every individual citizen of India can raise their voice in correcting the budget and give their options or give their suggestions as far as the budgets are concerned, because suggestions are also invited while preparing the budget. So if they are aware, then definitely this particular aspect of developing India and making sustainable developed India in 2047 can be achieved. Thank you very much, sir, for joining today, and hope in coming future also you will be we will be inviting you.
Thank you. It's a really proud and privileged, Marvi. Thank you very much. Thank you, MNT English. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. So it was Professor Dr. P.S. Kamble, sir, who had analyzed the budget and who had explained us how the budget it was and what is needed, or how the budget should be, and what improvements can be made in upcoming budget, so that every citizen of India and particularly the marginalized sections can get their share in this particular budget. So I hope this particular video will be there in this particular link. So kindly share this link within your social networks so that every citizen of India will come to know what was there for him in the budget, and he will again try to pass on this particular information to others in their social network. So this is very informative message on and analytical message of budget 2024. So kindly pass on this message to each and everybody in your network so that they will come to know about the budget. Thank you very much for joining today, and we will be again there tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. With a different topic in Hindi. So be there, and thank you very much for joining today. Thank you. Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi, Jai Samvidhan, Jai Bharat.